BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. And there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino. All the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. Right. I want to bring up something. So we had you on last year around this time, right?
It was last year around WrestleMania.
Was it before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania? It was before, right?
It was before.
All right. Okay. So I think we may have discussed this when because now we fast forward. Okay. Because I think we discussed this with you. Is that we were talking about, okay, what happens if Cody beats Roman and he finishes the story? And I think we brought up on the show because me and Conan were talking about then because I was wondering if Roman should go over because the Bloodline storyline is strong. Cody chasing is strong. It's like, what's going to happen if you take away those two components of the stories of the WWE? Bro, I'll profess that they, like, ever since Cody won and he finished the story, the Bloodline disbanded basically, or they tried to bring the new Bloodline. Bro, it's the TV has been underwhelming, and it's like your worst fear that, like, we had momentum, we kind of lost it, and it's like I think they've been trying to get it back, but they haven't connected with the angle that's like the magic, like the Bloodline with Sami Zayn and stuff. Just the weekly compelling television. We're a year forward here, bro. We went over. I don't know if you felt the same way. Me and Conan went over the card before WrestleMania started. There was literally maybe 4 matches I had interest in, and just it just seems like right now AEW and WWE are just flatter than they were a year ago because, like, I was more interested in the product back then. What do you think?
I thought I said this on Busted Open. I thought the build towards this year's WrestleMania was underwhelming. I think, like, I feel like the opening match night number 2 with Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Eio Sky was absolutely fantastic. The story going in was absolutely terrible.
Right.
Terrible. Like, I just feel like the stories were awful.
Right.
And
because the thing that we said, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh.
Now forget. I think that the thing that we were having trouble, me and Disco, was why was Eio Sky even involved in that? That should have been a straight up one-on-one match, and the build up, that's the same, bro. It's the same word we used, underwhelming.
Yeah, underwhelming.
And I think you could say that about a lot of the matches. Now, some of them, I thought night 2, with the exception of the main event, was very good.
Right.
But the main event, it just was like,
that's the most important match. That you need to go off hot.
I just felt like I just don't understand. Really, my problem was, and you could have the argument about Cody's run. I think it was a successful one because if you look at the numbers, the WWE was very hot throughout the year.
So, Dave, there's a question. So, what Disco is saying to you, because when he originally said that, I said, no way Roman should win the title. This guy has to finish his story. Okay? So, but he's been kind of right. I mean, what have they done since then? What rivalry that's really been hot?
They haven't. Like, that's what I don't understand.
Like, Owens was pretty good.
Yeah, but even if you're gonna have him finish the story, you better have something hot.
The next story
Immediately.
Like, I thought it was going to be Randy Orton. I thought Cody and Randy would be money.
Right.
But you know what? It didn't happen. So now you're waiting for WrestleMania because you figure, all right, they got to have something big for WrestleMania. I don't understand. There's a lot of things I'm confused about. I don't understand that first episode of Netflix when they were on Netflix, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Why would you have The Rock put the Ulafala over Roman's?
Dude, I don't know what. There's obviously a disconnect with what The Rock wants to do and what the writing team wants to do. And Rock's a part-timer, but Rock kind of knows, hey, look, I was in the mix last year and we did big numbers and it was a big deal. which was kind of like, and then I brought this up, and I don't know if maybe other people think of the same way, but this is 2 years in a row, okay, that The Rock has offered his idea for what he wanted to do. Last, he wanted to do Roman and him, right?
Yeah.
Fans on it, had to change it so okay, there's one. That's one big Rock idea. He wanted to have a big match, everything, and they just shot. Then the fans and everybody just shot it down. This year, The Rock wanted like Cody to turn like whatever I heard. Like I don't know what the plans were.
He wanted Cody to turn heel and be in that soul spot.
But you're just hearing it, bro. They shot down another idea that The Rock had for the big picture of WrestleMania, and I'm just wondering, if like The Rock, he took a shot at you on when you were complaining it. Bro, this guy does not take criticism very well at all, it seems like. And he's kind of like public with this, kind of like he's being very petty and maybe like a crybaby about not getting his way and just like, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and we'll just do this. That's the feeling I get. What do you get from this?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I was listening to your show last week where you were like, Conan, you said like, I love Dave, but why is The Rock responding to Dave?
Right.
Like, why, like, why is he?
You don't got more important to do?
And the response was offensive.
Right.
The response was offensive, but you wanted to come in last year, take Cody's spot, and make it Rock Roman. Well, you can't do that. You just had your fans for 10 months following Cody Rhodes' story. You can't, when you're about to have the conclusion, change the main stars in the movie. And that's what The Rock tried to do. The fans wouldn't let it happen, and we got an historic main event at WrestleMania last year. But he tried to do it again here. He inserted himself at Elimination Chamber about the whole soul thing, and then had the whole main event story go in this direction, and then he pulls himself out, right? So now he does the opposite. Now, like, he's part of this. Now, last year, he tried to insert himself in the story when it didn't make sense. And now he inserted himself in the story, and then right when we're about to get the payoff, he pulls himself out. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't.
So finish your because this is a pretty good theory. Finish your theory of why Rock pulled out because they didn't want to do his ideas. Tell him.
Well,
Disco. Yeah.
Oh,
you came up with it. You.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what Disco was saying is that Rock, after he didn't get his way the first time, he didn't get his way the second time. He said, "I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. You guys do." You know what I'm saying?
That's what I said,
and now you got Cena between a rock and a hard place. Well, you need to be a heel because Cody doesn't want to be a heel. But I assume, because I was a babyface for many, many years, and then I was a heel for many, many years, right? I assume, like, when I turned heel, I was so happy to turn heel because I wanted people to be able to tell them to go, right? And so I almost think like Cena inside always wanted to be a heel, and now he finally got a chance. But what do you think of Disco's theory?
I mean, I think anything's possible. I think everything is on the table because what we have makes no sense at all. So there had to be something set. Like, listen, I could be totally off on this. I don't buy the theory of I got a call, Elimination Chamber tickets are soft, so come in and be a part of this.
Right.
All right. There's a big difference between making an appearance to add a few more thousand fans to an event and changing the story that's leading to your main event at WrestleMania. That's two different conversations.
And not only that, and wait one second. And let me and bro, check this out. So we had Brian, does anybody want to go faster, Alvarez, on our show last week. I didn't even know this. They were selling Rock Comes to Las Vegas T-shirts.
Yeah.
Finally, The Rock.
So it was something went wrong last minute. But go ahead, D.I.
Well, I just thought about this right now. Is that this is ultimately the problem that happened here, and this is why I like my theory. Is that okay? Rock said, well, we should just focus on John Cena. 17. Let's make it all about John Cena. It's like, okay, that's great, but you just went out there at the end of Elimination Chamber and you did this thing with the throat and so it's like you gave him the thing. All right. bro, you got to follow up with John Cena. What was your connection here? Like, no storytelling after that. Nothing.
Nope.
Just Travis Scott. I'm out here with Travis Scott. And then we don't even really hear from Travis Scott again until he walks that thing. Dude, you left. All you had to do was just tighten the screws on that storyline, because people are sitting there saying, like us, bro, when we're looking back at the story, this made no sense. Why did John Cena turn on Cody Rhodes just because The Rock did just like, and The Rock disappeared and went away with nothing, you know?
All John Cena could have said in one of these promos, which never happened, which again makes me think, like you said, something else was planned and it was taken away. All John Cena had to say was, I sold my soul to The Rock to get a spot at Elimination Chamber. I haven't won a match. I haven't won a singles match in 7 years. Yeah. In 7 years, I haven't won a singles match. There was no way I was going to get a spot at Elimination Chamber unless I sold my soul to The Rock.
Yeah.
At least then you have some explanation on why he did what he did.
Can you explain to me what sell my soul means? Because I'm not sure what that even means.
Bro, I've
heard sell your soul to the devil, but to another person?
Bro, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but there was a lot of Illuminati imagery, like
symbology,
symbolism in this angle. Okay, like I'm not a big fan. I don't really believe in the Illuminati, but when I saw all the stories, like, okay, this is like with the Illuminati, you sell your soul, like all these big stars have sold their souls to be big stars in Hollywood. But bro, the thing that got me was like this thing, like supposedly there's like some Illuminati ritual where you get, like, they give you a black eye. And I was like, it's something. Cody's going on
Black
TV. Travis got into a thing. Cody's on TV with the black eye and everything. And so all the conspiracy theorists are going over this, like, look at this angle here. In retrospect, it's like almost like that was what that's all this angle was. The Rock tried to recruit Cody for the Illuminati. Cody said no. So turn up, but all the conspiracy theorists knew about this story. Go ahead.
Because people are trying to make sense of something that makes absolutely no sense. So you're going to get conspiracy. Why couldn't you just do this? Like, if The Rock was not going to be involved, right? If The Rock was not going to be involved, they knew he wasn't going to be a part of WrestleMania because he's filming a Scorsese movie or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
If first of all, why are you having Elimination Chamber in a stadium, by the way? Like, that's for SummerSlam. That's for WrestleMania. Why are you having Elimination Chamber in a baseball stadium?
Because they can sell the tickets, basically.
But all right, so ticket sales were soft. Why is even The Rock admitting that ticket sales are soft? I don't know why he would say that on Pat McAfee. But
I think he was kind of putting himself over.
Yeah, but he could make an appearance without getting involved in the story. The story should have been Cody Rhodes, John Cena, a passing of the torch moment at WrestleMania. John Cena and Cody Rhodes have respect with one another. Cody Rhodes, to Cena, you're my mentor, you're my hero. John Cena saying, Cody, you're the next face of the company. You're the face of the next generation of the WWE, and it's all built on respect. And then you get the match at WrestleMania, and that's where Cena turns. That's where you get the ref bump, you get the low blow, and you get the belt shot to Cody's head.
Yeah.
Cena wins the championship. 1, 2, 3. He's a 17-time world championship. The place would have booed John Cena out of the building, and you would have had a WrestleMania moment that nobody would ever forget. And people would be talking about WrestleMania 41 being one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Instead, people are saying it's the worst WrestleMania main event.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
I just thought of this too. Bro, maybe there's another reason that everybody thinks is the worst WrestleMania main events, right? Is that, dude, WrestleMania, tradition, like if you go, how many of them have been? 41, 42?
It was 41.
Dude, how many times in the history of WrestleMania has the heel gone over in the main event? I mean, you can count on one hand, the fingers on one hand.
Once.
You had 2 nights where you had heat at the end of WrestleMania, like not the big pop or the big thing, like the big moment at the end of the show. It was like heat both nights.
And you know what? Another reason why, again, this is the conspiracy theories. So The Rock on Pat McAfee says, they called me to go to Elimination Chamber because ticket sales were soft. They wound up getting like 38,000 at Elimination Chamber, which is a pretty good number for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
What about WrestleMania? The ticket sales for WrestleMania were soft.
They were slow, very slow. They were expensive. They were moving slow. They had to, bro. They ton of tickets went on sale like the last 2 days because they lowered the ticket prices considerably for the seats that were left.
There were a few days before WrestleMania. They sold like 54,000 for night one and 56,000 for night two. Last year they had over 70,000.
Yeah.
Nights. Right. So like you're worried about soft ticket sales for Elimination Chamber, but you don't about when it's WrestleMania. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
You know what I think, Dave? First of all, let me say that I think conspiracy theories are opportunists. So they have this ritual where they get a black eye. Cody gets a black eye. See, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? So they're very opportunistic that way. The other thing I wanted to tell you, here's what caught me the most, Dave. After such brilliant...
just real quick, Dave, how much time do you have left?
Just keep going. It's all good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay,
so
I'll take the heat from my wife.
After the brilliant storytelling WWE had done, and not just with the Bloodline, but others, right? This is the same crew that wrote that. How could they write this? The other thing that came into my mind, and believe me, I've been in many of these situations. You have a scene where the top guy or top guys don't agree with creative. There's a back and forth, and now the promotion isn't doing what's right for the promotion, but what's right for the wrestler. And you get sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to pacify the wrestler because he may just take his ball and go home 2 days before the main event.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, because I think now with TKO, I think they're more concerned about superstar power than a cohesive storyline or storytelling. And I think that shows if you're not going to have The Rock there, then why is Travis Scott there?
Right.
There's no reason to have Travis Scott. Like,
guy didn't even said a word.
No, and that's why as soon as you saw Travis Scott, every single person that was in that stadium thought The Rock was coming out next. Every single person. If you didn't have Travis Scott come out, then maybe people would be saying, all right, where's The Rock? But once you saw Travis Scott, you automatically assumed, rightfully so, that you were going to get The Rock. Conan, you're so right. That's what makes this so puzzling, is that ever since Triple H took over creative, they have crossed every T, dotted every I. They've connected every creative dot. The creative for the WWE's never been better in decades. And then you're going to drop the ball of your when it comes to your biggest show of the year. It makes no sense.
Something happened. We don't know about it. We may find out in a few years.
Yes, something happened.
This is not like them. This is more like, and I don't want to throw shade on him, but I'm about to. This is more like Tony Khan would do. Nothing.
What's the backstage show going to be called, Dave, on Netflix?
Unreal.
Unreal.
Okay. What if WWE Unreal is about the build to WrestleMania, and we'll find out what happens then?
Yeah, but still, all right. Then you're doing it on a Netflix show that nobody's going to watch.
Right. That's just extra. That's just extra content.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.